Good morning. My name is Martin Gelfand, and it is my honor, it's actually afternoon right now, right, just by a few seconds, my honor to serve as Associate Chair of the Physics Department. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the department, I would like to welcome you to this recognition ceremony for our graduating students. I now wish to introduce you to the members of the Platform Party who represent the leadership of our college and department, as well as our faculty. I'll ask each person to rise and remain standing throughout the introductions. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Dr. Jacob Roberts, Interim Dean of the College of Natural Sciences, as well as a faculty member in physics. Dr. Kristen Buchanan, Chair of the department. And I realize I should have had Scott Sternberg, our alumni speaker. Now, faculty, Professor William Jay, Professor Dylan Yost, who's down there? Who's next? Professor Sam Brewer, Emeritus Professor Carl Patton. Unfortunately, I can't see who's. Professor Sarah Stevens, Professor Yulia Maximenko, Professor Hua Chen, Professor Michael Mooney, Bill Fairbank, Professor Bob Wilson, and finally, Professor Norm Buchanan. Let us recognize these outstanding leaders and educators. Please be seated, everyone. And now I am very pleased to hand the podium over to Dr. Kristen Buchanan.
Thank you very much, Marty. So class of 2025, congratulations. So you have demonstrated perseverance, resilience, drive, and focus to get to this day. We are all here to celebrate your accomplishments. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce to you our alumni speaker, Scott Sternberg. Scott is a proud CSU alumnus who received his Master of Science degree in physics in 1990 when he completed his thesis under the mentorship of Prof. Suao Lee. He spent another 2 years at CSU establishing a core microscopy facility for the Department of Anatomy and Neurobiology. He then moved to the business side of technology for more than 2 decades, eventually serving as the president of the US subsidiary of Vaisala Inc., a company with a primary focus on environmental measurement tools. For the past year and a half, he has served as the executive director of the QBIT, spelled C-U-BIT, quantum initiative based in CU Boulder. This is an interdisciplinary hub that reinforces Colorado's prominence in quantum information science and technology. Thank you, Scott, for sharing your thoughts with us today. I will now turn over the podium to Scott.
Well, thank you, Professor Buchanan. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here. To the esteemed faculty, it's been a while since I've worn a tassel, so excuse me as it's sort of wafting in my face here. But to the esteemed faculty, to the proud families in the back, to all of the friends that are here, and most importantly, to the graduating class of 2025, congratulations. Earning a physics degree from a research institution is no small feat. Demands rigor, resilience, creativity, and a great deal of perseverance. And I think all of you sitting in the front row know exactly what all of those words mean to you specifically. Along the way, you've engaged with some of the most fundamental questions about our universe, many of which don't have easy answers. And in doing so, however, you've developed a powerful set of tools, not just equations and models, but ways of thinking that cuts through complexity to help you see more clearly. As physicists, we're used to working with abstract ideas to describe concrete realities. We model uncertainty, embrace probability, and accept that sometimes the best we can do is a close approximation. That perspective doesn't just apply to the classroom or to the laboratory, it applies to life. Which brings me to the point I would like to make today. I'd like to introduce you to something that I'm calling your opportunity distribution function. If you've studied quantum mechanics, and I know you have, these folks would not have let you out of here without studying quantum mechanics. You're familiar with the probability distribution function. describes not necessarily where a particle is, but more so where it might be. It describes different likelihoods and different outcomes. In a similar spirit, your future at this moment can be thought of as an opportunity distribution, a wide-ranging dynamic function describing all of the directions your career and your life might take, each of which has its own amplitude, each of which has its own measure of potential. This moment, graduating with a degree in physics, represents an expansion of that opportunity distribution function. Because physics doesn't train you for just one path. It equips you with the ability to reason, to question, to build models of a world and improve them through experience. It gives you a framework and an approach to complex, uncertain systems, and to keep moving even when the answers aren't clear. Now, in quantum mechanics, nothing happens until we measure something. And in life, nothing unfolds until we engage. The possibilities are out there, but only they become real when we take action, when we take a job, when we embark on a project, or simply when we ask a question. That's how your opportunity distribution function starts to collapse into something more tangible. And each time you do, you shape the world for something that's possible. Some time ago, I was in your state, and by that I mean a quantum mechanical state of superposition, being able to be in a multiple set of states and emotions and opportunities all at the same time. I had graduated with my undergraduate degree in physics and came out here expressly due to the fact that I was studying magnetics. I think there's one person on the faculty member who might have remembered that. It was an opportunity for me to extend my internship that was done at an institution, actually at a corporation, that focused on magnetic media and storage. And so I was working on breakthroughs for products based on this fundamental physics principle. So I was coming here to learn more about things like coercivity and remnant magnetization, which also have life metaphors, but perhaps that's a different story. And then one day it happened. I was running down the hall of D-Wing, and I mistakenly went into what I thought was a classroom, but it was actually a laboratory that was illuminated by nothing but laser light. Now at that time, and remind yourselves that that was a long, long time ago, there was only a handful of colors of laser light that were available. I had seen that characteristic red laser light, and that was the only light that I had seen. But for the first time, I had seen the multiple colors, multiple intensities racing around the optical table, all in an expressly designed system to operate holistically. I had never seen anything like that before. More importantly, however, I saw a person who was surprised by my entrance, poking his head up of the table wearing dark glasses, looking at me as if to say, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here." But for that moment, my opportunity distribution function collapsed immediately. Images came back from my undergraduate optics courses, which I probably should have paid more attention to back then, started to flash through my head. For that moment, and at that moment of inspiration, and yes, uncertainty for me, served as the basis of what became my career and a theme throughout my entire life. That memory is one that I fondly remember and associate, and will always associate, with this university, this department, and that hallway. That hallway where I spent 4 years in the dark after moving to a state that expressly has 300 days of plus sunshine. Some of you will go on to graduate school, pushing the boundaries of research. Others will take what you've learned and apply it to engineering, data science, climate modeling, finance, tech, policy, the list goes on. Many of you will forge new paths that don't exist today in industries and applications that are emerging, because physics doesn't just describe the world as it exists, it creates the future. And finally, some of you will choose to pass on the tradition as faculty members and teachers. I look forward to how your paths unfold and how your opportunity distribution functions change over the next couple of months, years, decades, and throughout your entire career. If there's one thing I hope you leave with today, is that in uncertainty is absolutely not a weakness. It's a space for possibility. The fact that you don't know exactly what's coming next doesn't mean you're lost. It means that the system is still wide open. And that's exactly where physics thrives. So class of 2025, as you leave here today, remember that your future is not a fixed trajectory. It's a rich, multi-dimensional function of potential. And your degree is a powerful tool for navigating that. Congratulations again. May your amplitude be meaningful, your path constructive, and may your curiosity never go to zero. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. And thank you for memorizing your speech. So, thank you very much for the very inspirational message, and I really like your interpretation of uncertainty. So, I actually have a small token of appreciation for you from the department, and Jake, if you could grab that and pass that on to Scott. Sorry about that. So this is something that we hope you will find useful to transport the regalia that you're wearing, and then also just a couple of small tokens that will hopefully help you to show your Ram pride. So next, I would like to invite our interim dean to the podium. Interim Dean Jake Roberts is also one of our own faculty members in physics, and he's going to share a few words with our graduates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristen. So before I get into my official remarks from the college, I want to say that this particular recognition ceremony does hold a special place in my heart. You can't tell the other departments because that wouldn't be fair. But I've had a chance to be a teacher for several of the people who are here. I've had a chance to interact with many of you over the years. I'm so proud of your accomplishments from those direct experiences in a way that is just different from other places. I also have a love and devotion to physics that has been developed over many, many years, and I'm very excited to be sharing that with you as you go off to become practicing physicists off into your future. So graduating students, celebrations this weekend mark the beginning of a new phase in your life. For those of you who finished your coursework this spring, you'll walk away today alumni of Colorado State University. For our graduates who will finish this summer or fall, you are only a few months away from realizing this great achievement. I'm joining you today as a representative of the College of Natural Sciences. The degrees that you are receiving are from our college. And as alumni of this college, you are now connected to thousands of others who have come before you. Receiving a degree from the College of Natural Sciences is not an easy feat. You've worked hard, shown determination, failed, and tried again. These skills and your academic achievements will carry you far as you embark on your next phase of life. As you walk out of this ceremony today, embrace all the emotions and feelings that come with this transition. Feel the power of being connected to everyone in the College of Natural Sciences, and know that Colorado State University is not a part of your past, but an ever-present community that will continue to support you throughout life's many transitions. Congratulations to our graduating class. Before I end my speech today, we must acknowledge the people who have helped you throughout your journey. I would like to take a minute to address the family and friends who are here today. And those who are joining us in spirit from afar. Your support and guidance have been and will continue to be critical to these graduates' success. We are forever grateful for the gifts that you have given and the sacrifices you have made, all of which have led to this moment. Will the parents, partners, family, and friends assembled here please stand or raise your hand so we recognize you. Thank you all.
So shortly, we will recognize our individual graduates. They will be introduced by Dr. Marty Gelfand, receive their diploma covers from me, and then they will shake hands with Dean Roberts and then with Scott Sternberg here. Next, they will pass through our line of faculty right here and shake hands. Before you do that, however, you're going to pause and stand right about here so that you can be in the camera for all of your family and friends who are watching remotely. And for each of you who are graduating, we're going to have one of the faculty come up to say a few words about you. That should be interesting. We are also going to have your picture taken before you return to your seats, although we may have already done that. And I see someone nodding, so I think we'll skip that step, although there will likely be some camera flashes as you're standing up here before you go through the line of faculty we have here. In addition to that, before the diploma cover is handed over, like I said, one of the faculty members is going to say a few impromptu words about you. And just for our faculty here, this is supposed to be a very short impromptu remark. And so I have asked Marty, because all of our faculty like to talk, to intercede if this goes beyond the 2-minute mark. And so I just want to make sure that everyone over here is aware that that will happen. So for those of you in the audience, because we're recognizing students who are receiving 3 different degrees, we have students here who are receiving a Bachelor of Science degree, the Master of Science degree, and then also the PhD degree. I want to briefly explain the significance of each one of those degrees. So the Bachelor of Science degree, it's an undergraduate degree. Students begin working on their bachelor's degree directly out of high school, typically. The requirement of the degree is completing a specific body of coursework. And all students this year actually were actively involved in undergraduate research as well as completing their coursework, which is really nice. Bachelor's degree students in department ceremonies and the university commencement will wear black, green, or gold gowns. And the gold gowns and the green gowns, I think, as well, signify that the students qualify for Latin honors. For example, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude. And what that means is that these students are in the top 10% by grade point average of their graduating class at the university. So those robes represent a true honor. The Master of Science and Doctor of Philosophy degrees, those are graduate degrees. Students must complete an undergraduate degree before they start to work towards a graduate degree. Students typically complete the master's degree in 2 to 3 years. And if they continue for the Doctor of Philosophy, another 3 to 5 years is standard. Nationwide, the median time between starting a graduate program in physics and earning the doctoral degree is 6.5 years. To earn the master's degree, students complete a specific set of courses, and they also pass an oral examination associated with either a written thesis or a presentation by the student on a topic related to contemporary research in physics. Those students also engage in research. Students working towards a Doctor of Philosophy degree may take a course or 2 after they complete all of the master's course requirements, but their primary focus at the point where they reach the PhD is usually research. To earn the title of PhD, this requires that students produce a significant body of original research. By the time a student graduates, they are truly an expert in their specific area of study, often in some cases surpassing the knowledge of their advisor in that specific research area. And now we're going to move on to the most important part of today's celebration. At this time, I'd like to ask Professor Jay to organize our graduates so that they're ready to be recognized.
In just a minute, I'll present this year's graduating students from the physics department, but first, let me make a couple of announcements. Graduates are organized by degree, bachelor's first, followed by master's students, and then doctoral students. Guests wishing to take photographs while your student is being recognized, please feel free to, I think right behind where the professional photographer is a good spot. So feel free to come down if you want to do that. All graduates will receive digital images from the professional photographer approximately 3 days after the ceremony. Graduates, please hand me your name card before I announce you, and this isn't because I don't know who you are, but it's because we need a record of what order the photographs are being taken. And now it is with great pleasure I present to you our students awarded degrees this year. Graduates receiving a Bachelor of Science, right? Alexandria Elizabeth Dolan, the Bachelor of Science in Physics.
All right, so it is my pleasure to actually say a few words about Allie Dolan. And so there was actually a lineup of faculty who were interested in saying a few words about Allie because she has been such an important part of our department over these past few years. I first got to know Allie about 2 years ago because she was part of a group of 4 undergraduate students who approached me to try and revive one of our undergraduate student groups, the Women in Physics student group. This group had basically kind of, I would say, diminished in its activity to the point that it wasn't really active at all during the COVID years. And so Allie and the other students were interested in trying to bring this student group back to life. And Allie did that, and we actually have a larger membership in this group than we have had in more than a decade. So she did a wonderful job with that. She is also the president of the Society for Physics Students, and led the group to win an award for the SPS Distinguished Student Chapter. She has been an active volunteer with the Little Shop of Physics, which is one of our signature outreach programs in the college. And they do things like try to motivate K-12 students to pursue careers in science and or pursue studies in science and to get excited about science, I would say. In addition to that, you'll also see that she's wearing a green robe, so she is one of our excellent academic students. And she also worked in my research group on undergraduate research, where she has been taking a lot of very historic microwave equipment that was originally started by Carl Patton, and she's been reviving one of our ferromagnetic resonance systems in the laboratory. She has a very bright future ahead of her, and also she has also been recognized as one of the College of Natural Sciences outstanding graduate for 2025. So. So thank you very much, and Allie, you can now proceed to shake the hands of the other faculty, and we will move on to the next graduate.
Jackson Andrew Benz, Bachelor of Science in Physics and graduating magna cum laude.
So, very happy to be speaking regarding Jackson. I've known Jackson for several years now, and I've had the good fortune to work with him in a number of capacities. His academic advisor, he was a student in 2 of my classes, he worked in my research group, and then this last semester we worked together on his honors thesis. And so working with Jackson has been especially an especially fun time for me because his unbridled enthusiasm and curiosity and seemingly unlimited raw skills has been very inspiring. And I've had an amazing time working with him. But the thing that impresses me the most is how much Jackson has worked with other students, other undergraduates, including setting up tutoring without compensation and tutoring our students on the courses that they've been taking during their program. And I've even sent students to him from my classes to get a bit of a refresher, and I've heard back nothing but absolute, positive reinforcement that I should send more students to Jackson. And so I'm very glad that he's going to be here next year. And yeah, you have a very bright future, so congratulations, Jackson. Thank you very much.
Jarek Isaac Stickrod.
So I had the opportunity of teaching Jarrett quantum mechanics, so he learned, as well as all these other undergraduates graduating from me, all about the things Scott was talking about of uncertainty. But Jarrett also worked in my lab, and he was a great research assistant in the lab. He learned how to operate a really complex equipment with lasers and ion beams and imaging of single atoms. And he also learned with his computer skills how to analyze images of atoms really well. He ended up being co-author on one paper that we wrote on that work, and was also acknowledged on another paper that we wrote recently. So he was a wonderful student in my class, and I really enjoyed working with you. Thank you, Jarrett.
Jackson Charles Tobin. So I wanted to grab Jack Tobin, have the honor of this presentation. If I had to have a couple of words to describe Jack, I would say effective and independent. So I was Jack's academic advisor, didn't teach him in any classes, but as an academic advisor, how can I say, we often guide students in many ways, help them engage in undergraduate research, help them choose what directions they want to go. And I think Jack didn't really need any of that assistance in the end. It was quite remarkable. He managed to get involved in research at the Cooperative Institute for Research in the Atmosphere back when 2023, was that the summer? 22, anyway, it was, yeah, did that without, I had no idea, it just happened, and it was, he had absolutely glowing reports from his research mentor there, Jason Apke. And then again, for going to graduate school, found his own way and has been accepted to the, I assume you're still going to go to, okay, the Department of Atmospheric Science at Colorado State University, which is, if not the top program in the country, one of the best. So again, that was pretty amazing. So again, I'm looking forward to seeing great things. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Right. And Bailey Arnold.
Yeah, so I'm Professor Dylan Yost, and I wasn't his research advisor, but we actually have a brief statement from Christian Sanner, Professor Christian Sanner, who couldn't be here today, who just had a couple of words about Bailey. Bailey Arnold was in the Sanner lab from the very first day. In many different ways, he helped set up our ytterbium ion clock experiment. This does not only mean that he built laser systems and all kinds of electronics. He also explored how much dust can accumulate on equipment, which has been sitting around for more than 50 years. That's good. He was willing to carry tons of boxes and cables between different labs in the building, and armed with a seismometer, he performed a seismic survey of our lab space. Bailey is not only a great lab mate, he is also a member of the ski trip core team. Yeah. Willing to go through any effort to make the AMO ski trip a great success. Obviously, we expect that wherever the next chapter in his life will bring him, he will always visit us for the ski trips. Yeah, congratulations again. Yeah.
So now we're beginning our one master's candidate, Makoto Endo.
So, I'm Professor Sam Brewer. Again, I'll be standing in for Christian Sanner. So Makoto was a master's student working with Christian. And again, Christian sent a few words along. So Makoto Endo joined the Sanner Lab in 2023 and worked on several projects covering everything from oxygen spectroscopy to composite pulse engineering. In fact, his work on optical fiber noise cancellation made him the resident fiber splicing expert. And his splicing skills were requested by people from inside and outside of the department. Having Makoto in our lab was a real privilege in many other regards. We learned that ramen should not be considered real Japanese food. We grew to understand some finer points of Japanese culture, and we started to truly appreciate Trader Joe's and Mexican food. And of course, Makoto also joined us on several ski trips, staying in good spirits after hours and hours of nonstop skiing. Christian wants to wish Makoto all the best in his next adventures, and I had the pleasure of having Makoto do some of this fiber work in our labs. It was a joint project. And maybe just on a personal note, I found Makoto to be extremely hardworking and super easy to work with all the time, always had a great attitude. And so, we're really excited that you're able to complete your project, and we're looking forward to how things go with you in the future. So congrats.
Now we'll present our students who earned the Doctor of Philosophy in Physics. I'd say this is the only ceremony in which the PhD students are joining the ceremonies, but again, how can I say, we love them so much we can't let them go, and we're really happy to have them. So first, Dr. David Marchfield.
So David Marchfield was a PhD student working with my research group, and it was really a pleasure to work with David. One of the things that I want to point out is that, first of all, earning a PhD is a real accomplishment. And David and I were actually talking yesterday, and he is the first member of his immediate family to earn a PhD, which makes this even a bigger accomplishment. So congratulations, David. And it's been a real pleasure to work with you on your project, too. And thank you also for everything that you've done in terms of, trying to help mentor people in the research group, pass forward your knowledge, and also to archive your work to make sure that it's helpful to the next graduate student. For a PhD, one of the most important things is to be able to pass that knowledge forward. And then also, for a PhD, I think every student along the way encounters a lot of challenges. And so one of the big things to take away from this experience is that you've been able to work through those challenges and succeed. And that is something that will stay with you for your entire life. So congratulations, David.
And last but not least, Dr. Andrew Treglia. So I stand here as Andrew's advisor in name, and I do wish his other real advisor, Jamie Nielsen, could be here, as well as Kate Ross, who started the ball rolling. So we heard about how important, how can I say, perseverance is generally as a personal trait, and Andrew has that in spades. In the course of his PhD, he encountered several, I would say, serious obstacles, which many people would just turn around, say, I'm done. But Andrew just somehow didn't view those as insurmountable obstacles, just walked right around them. So that was quite impressive. So that included effectively a change in advisor, having to deal with some remarkable experimental challenges, which were, again, completely out of his control. But he did some remarkable technical work, which I hope someday will, be used by some future students somewhere, if not here. So I think with that, I want to say again, congratulations again, Andrew. It's been a real honor.
Okay, so congratulations to everyone for your wonderful accomplishments, and thank you all for being here today. Before we move on, there's a number of people who I want to thank for making today's ceremony possible. First of all, I want to thank the department staff and the department faculty, with a special shout out to the members of the Department Recognition Ceremony Committee, who were instrumental in putting today together. And so that is, first of all, Dr. William J., and then we also had Dr. Fairbank and Raina Doyle, who's not here today, and of course, Marty Gelfand, who is our fearless leader in setting up this, this committee and also setting up this ceremony today. We also have benefited from the invaluable knowledge and assistance of Evelyn Palma, sitting over in the corner there, and also Lisa Strube-Case. They are both from the College of Natural Sciences, and Evelyn in particular has served on the college's commencement committee, or coordinator actually, for many years. And so she was absolutely essential to putting today together. We're also grateful for the assistance of the Laurie Student Center staff and also the physics department staff who have helped to put together the reception that we're all about to enjoy shortly, and also some of the details behind the scenes to make all of this possible. I also want to thank our platform party, so Interim Dean Jake Roberts and our alumni speaker Scott Sternberg. And there's also one additional thank you that I would like to make, which is a thank you to all of the friends and family and partners and spouses of all of our graduating students who are here today to help celebrate this moment. Thank you for your support of all of the students here. So we now have one final opportunity to applaud all of our graduates, so let's take advantage of that. So normally in a big formal commencement ceremony, we would have all of our graduates march out of the theater in line. But what I'd like to do instead is have all of our attendees come down and just mingle with the faculty and the students, and you can slowly make your way out to the atrium just outside of the Laurie Student Center Theater. Before you actually leave, make sure that you take the opportunity to pick up all of your items, and then there's a reception that will be held just outside of this room here. And I hope that you will all enjoy the reception and take the opportunity to talk and celebrate. Finally, congratulations. Congratulations to our graduates. I hope you enjoy the rest of this weekend with your family and friends. I hope that some of you will be able to attend the university-wide commencement later this afternoon. And first and foremost, congratulations and best wishes for the future.